Hello, Olympic friends. The most ubiquitous phrase we have in the Olympics is Citius, Altius, Fortius. But I think you probably don't know the real meaning of Citius, Altius, Fortius, and that's really what this talk is about. It does not mean that records have been broken, but rather how records continue to be broken. That is the key. The person that spoke those words first is Father Henri Didon. He lived from 1840 to 1900. Here he is. On 7th of March, 1891, speaking at Arswil College at a sports assembly, Father Didon, a Dominican priest, said their goal in sport should be to do their best to improve little by little. That is, to run a bit faster, jump a bit higher, and become a bit stronger than they had been before. He didn't say anything about beating anyone or setting a record. It's all about self-improvement. He gave them a motto in sport and life, Citius, Altius, Fortius. Ever faster, ever higher, ever stronger, ever stronger. His friend Baron de Coubertin was there. Baron de Coubertin, when he founded the modern Olympic movement 3 years later in 1894, chose that as the Olympic motto. To clarify the meaning of the Olympic motto, he created an Olympic creed based on a talk given in 1908 by Ethelbert Talbot, Bishop of Pennsylvania. Coubertin's Olympic creed reads, the most important thing in the Olympic Games is not to win, but to take part. Just as the most important thing in life is not to triumph, but to struggle. The essential thing is not to have conquered, but to have fought well. Citius, Altius, Fortius, therefore, explains how records are set, not that they have been set. When a young person gets interested in physical activity, they choose the methods of that day and that age, not thinking about the past or wondering if anyone in the future will do better. The vast majority are just having fun with physical activity. Now, there's a pyramid of methods that builds performance. The body is strengthened by nutrition, training, and enhanced by the equipment they have. Coaching and technique provides performance. And collectively, that is the meaning of Citius, Altius, Fortius, improving each of these. While these athletes are doing their best with the methods of their era, others in their era are working to improve nutrition, training, equipment, coaching, and technique. Those improvements elevate what the athlete can achieve. The best of the athletes will be on sports teams, the best of them on national teams, the best of them win medals, the best of them set records. So to see Citius, Altius, Fortius in action over 80 years of the women's 100 meters, we see very different conditions, but each athlete in their own time with actually very similar stride patterns tries to improve. And as a result of that, over 80 years at the women's 100 meters, the champions was 12% faster. These two women look very similar, but they're 80 years apart. Lackey, in her time, had to get used to starting right at the pool's edge. Henry has a starting block way up here, wave damping lane markers and goggles. I swam for 7 years before they had goggles, and the chlorine really reduced my practice time. And of course, she has goggles making visibility better underwater. Collectively, over 80 years, today's the Olympic champions 80 years after 1924 were 26% faster. Here we have 82 years at the men's 500 meter speed skating. They look like brothers, 80 years apart. The stride is the same, big difference in the clap skate versus having to lift the skate. Collectively, each working in their own time, each trying to improve over 82 years, the Olympic champions became 21% faster. We see almost no difference here, but if you notice the biceps and triceps of Olaf Tufte, He didn't get that in the winter in Norway, rowing on the fjords. I've been there in the winter time and in the summer. I rather appreciate the summer with the sunshine. Over those 80 years, the times have become 13% faster for the champion. Big difference here in the high jump. Catherwood had to deal with her time where your center of gravity needed to be way up here, maybe a third of a meter above the bar to clear it. Hellebrut, 80 years later, using the Fosbury flop, her center of gravity is maybe 5 centimeters above the bar, so that over 80 years, the champions from 1928 to 2008 became 29% faster. I looked at the average rate of improvement prior to introduction, the first time an improvement was introduced, and the change in the rate of improvement. The rowing machine, the training device, improved the rate of improvement more than 500%, fiberglass pole more than 400%, Fosbury flop more than 83%, and the clap skate 58%. Let's go back to 1924. Here is Johnny Weissmuller, who won the 400 meters. More interesting is at 100 meters, he was the first person to go under a minute at 100 meters. He won in 59 seconds. He became so famous by that, he became Tarzan in the movies. Andrew Charlton was third in that competition, but of interest to us is at 1500 meters, he won in a time that was 2 minutes faster than the previous Olympic record. That's right, 2 minutes, not 2 seconds. The question is, did that so amaze people of the time it took a while to catch up to them, or what happened? The second man in the competition, Arne Borg, was Charlton's arch rival. You are looking here at the first Speedo. 3 years later, Borg set a world record and the McRae Company changed his name to Speedo. Something was happening that made him mad, and Charlton is loving every minute of it. Let's take a look at the velocity of the male champions at 100 meters and 1500 meters from 1908 through 2016. In this and all the other figures we're going to look at, you'll see the effect of World War I here, World War II, increased during the Cold War, the effect of boycotting in 80 and 84, and then the influence of performance enhancing drugs. Now, here is that big jump due to Charlton. But all that happened was 4 years later, that was a new normal, new normal, new normal. Each time there was a new normal, and athletes simply improved from then on. Right here is the jump in the improvement because of the velocity, because of Weissmuller. But 4 years later, nobody was impressed. That was a new normal, new normal, new normal. Each time improvements increased. Now, I want to show you one more other thing. Here is Weissmuller's velocity in 1924. I'm going to go forward 76 years to the year 2000. And now, and from then on, the velocity at 1500 meters is faster than Weissmuller at 100 meters because of the gradual year by year, Olympic by Olympic improvement. The impossible happened by 1924 standards. We're going to look at the percent improvement in 3 kinds of sports. First, in swimming, I'm looking at the improvement from 1928 to 2016. At each Olympic Games, I'm taking improvement in all the swimming events, and you see them accumulating slowly upward from women on top, men on the bottom. Women improved faster until 1976, as there was a dramatic improvement in women's opportunities in terms of coaching, in terms of nutrition and equipment and technique. And then after 1976, these curves will show you about the same rate of improvement. Collectively, women were 33%, gained 33% of collective improvement over that period, men 28%, 1.7% per Olympiad, 1.4% per Olympiad, slow and steady not a huge amount, just a continuous one. In jumping, again, women improved at 28%, men 21%, gradually improving, the gap increasing until by 1976 opportunities were fairly equal. That's 1.4% per Olympiad for men, a percent for women rather, 1% for men. Running had the slowest improvement because you're working against gravity. Again, there is slow improvement all the way along, each time with a new normal. Collectively, women improved 13.6% to men's 9.5, 0.7% per Olympiad, compared to 0.5% per Olympiad. Each time a new normal, each time each athlete from bottom up trying to improve, and collectively that makes things better overall. So, summing up, it's the very nature of young athletes living the real meaning of Citius, Altius, Fortius, to try to improve, each using the methods of their day, each aided by similarly minded nutritionists, trainers, coaches, analysts, and equipment makers. Winning performances keep getting better simply due to the collective nature of that self-improvement. And what makes it so beautiful is the irrepressible champions like Jessica Ennis and Jesse Owens that make the Olympics so charming. Think about 1936. The United States thought about boycotting. They did not. Owens went to the Olympics and by his personal charisma made everybody his friend, including Lutz Long, a competitor of the German people, and by his own accounting, Hitler as well. That is what makes the Olympics so great. That is what makes sports so great. Owen said, always do your best. I met him and he told me that, and my teammates. Well, that is a good lesson for us all to simply put the negativity behind us and do the best we can. That is the message of sport. That is what makes it so great. That is what makes the Olympics that we're here to talk about so great. All the best to all of you. Thank you for listening.